Mm.
It's kind of a court, I guess.
Right.
Uh,
February 25th.
right, this is the finale, Andrew. This is what we played for. This is our Super Bowl. This is everything. This is everything we played this game built to this moment. We need to. Every single voice line needs to be
perfecto.
This is our portfolio, right? For when Funimation are doing the next season of Dragon Ball Super and they're looking for voices. We need to be able to go, look at this Let's Play of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Look at this final trial. We'll send them this video and be like, bruh, these are the voices of the future.
Bruh.
Bruh. Okay?
Yeah.
Gonna be on this.
It all starts right here with this line.
This is the defendant's lobby, alright. But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if...
something's happening behind the scenes. Oh.
Edgeworth! I thought it was Gunn for a second there.
Knowing you, you've already figured it out. The owner of the 7777777 ID card number, that is.
Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Already fucked it. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out.
You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there's still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything.
True. Not yet.
In any event, once all doubt has been removed, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes right. Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty.
But she didn't do it.
I figured to say as much. That's why I came here. To hear what you had to say.
This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something. And the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her.
The truth.
Everything goes back to the SL9 incident.
Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past.
That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened.
I'll think about it. See you in court, right?
Well, this is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now.
Right.
Autobots roll. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Normally, this is where the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Chief Gant.
Good morning, folks. How's everybody doing? Hello, Archie. Been to the pool yet?
No, I've been drowning enough in instances of my work.
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think I can top that. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours? Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court.
She wants to do what?
Having heard what she intends to say, feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble. What's this all about, defendant?
I would just like to make one simple request, and I will be finished. Well then, what is your request? Your Honor, I would like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. Oh, Lana! Objection! Objection! You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lana! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence.
We're getting a bit South African here.
Sorry, it's a bit more drift. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although it is an unprecedented situation. And the judge is going swift. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial. Even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening. It appears the time for verdicts has arrived. This court finds the defendant...
Objection! Objection! Let's go, Edgeworth! One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth?
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty, beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come on now, Worthy! I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut? I don't care for your tone, Chief Gant. What? Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes? Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me to be.
Praise Edgeworth! What a man!
With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy.
Cool, vicious comeback.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh? To whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony.
Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue.
I don't care what you think, Miss Skye.
Ugh.
The exposure of the truth sometimes results in a tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it'd be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant?
Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins.
Now then, witness. Please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma. Emma Sky. My occupation, I'm Nana's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct? Yeah. I'm trying my hardest to forget all about that though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid this is going to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then. He sure gave in fast.
Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me. But I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in his chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth. What does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor.
You could admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
It's got nothing to lose, I guess. Right.
Well, I
And I
know
feel-
what the contradiction is. Do
I
you know
feel-
what the contradiction is?
I feel like it's gonna be this, the man raised up his knife.
Yep. Because the autopsy report says he was stabbed in the back, not the chest. Sleuthy Saturdays!
Yes, you press anyway.
Yeah, you may as well press more info. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yeah. She was second in command. Under Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Miss Sky used to be quite the pair.
I believe they shared the same office. That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day too. The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day. Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work.
A man?
Yeah, Joe Dark. He was a serial killer. Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of the ceremony. We were desperate to get anything that would lead to an arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office. There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
What was the prosecutor doing there?
That day, there were 2 people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Almost forgot about Gan.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to questioning room after the ceremony.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in.
I don't clearly remember what happened then, but I don't clearly remember it. I will never forget.
Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark just then. The lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out. Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yeah, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Your mom. Why would you respond? So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yeah, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
That's why she drew a picture. A picture! Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? Ask about the picture.
Yeah.
This picture the witness drew, I believe it has a very important meaning.
But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I would mind.
Well, we have a new objection. You drew a picture of the scene you witnessed, right?
Yeah, I wanted to do everything I could to help the investigation. I can still see it now, whenever I close my eyes. It's strange, I took over the case after Prosecutor Marshall died, yet I never received any picture. Perhaps the witness is mistaken. But I did draw it, I swear. I'm not just imagining it.
This picture that Emma drew. That reminds me. I guess I should check the evidence again.
Well, anyway, let's continue. This scene that imprinted an image in your mind, can you please describe it to us? The man...
That must have been a real shock.
Even now when I close my eyes, I can still see it just as clearly. Tell us, what were you doing at that moment? I believe you testified that Joe Dark was holding you hostage? When the lightning struck and the lights went out, Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. I was thrown aside, and the other two began wrestling each other. Just like my parents did. I'm pretty sure I was watching them.
Emma doesn't have any reason to lie. But Lana sure does. I need to get Emma to tell me as much about this as she can. Right, two things. The autopsy report says you're stabbed in the back, not the chest. But this picture, do you know what the picture itself implies?
I'm gonna have to have a little look at it.
I don't think she knew who was who.
Yeah.
If that's... I mean, it could come down to artistic skills. But if that's what she saw, she does not know who is stabbing who.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
She just saw silhouettes. So yeah, present it. I think that's a more instant line to go down than the autopsy report saying you're standing in the back of the chest. And if we need both, we'll come to both. Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence.
Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy.
Shut the fuck out, right?
All I'm saying is that that as the prosecutor for this case, I wasn't handed a picture.
That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! I love a good behold. This is the evidence list for the SO9 incident. There was the half that was hidden. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Turn it... Oh! What's this?
Yes, what is this? Hey, that's it! That's the picture I drew!
Just put your glasses on. Hold on. Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here.
What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list?
Me?
Only the prosecutor in charge to have access to that list.
Huh? Huh? These lists, they're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in the case ever reached you.
What? What?
Oda! Oda! But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means the other half of the picture. Your Honor! Oh, you're right, Mr. Wright. Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list.
Oh.
Yes, that's quite conceivable, Mr. Edgeworth.
It's possible. Let's see.
There's something wrong. Do you even have to ask?
Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. That is, that thing.
What the fuck? No! What? 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 What does it mean? What? That's that thing! That thing that was dancing in the evidence room!
Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives.
What? I guess he was out of scrap paper? What? Very well, witness. I'm losing my fucking mind. No, put the other one next to it. It means something. Ugh.
Huh? Oh yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Did she design the blue badger? The blue badger might not be her, but the lines at the edge might be. What does that mean?
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
That means she doesn't know who stabbed who. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder the prosecutor, Neil Marshall. No, it does not. Object. Object. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Olivia, like, object? Where's my object button? Do I have? Can I object, please?
Because we don't have evidence to show that. We have logic, which is much harder to present in court for some reason.
Okay, tell us more, Emma.
Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything. During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Sky.
2 or 3 days later. The memory should still have been fresh in her mind. Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all black?
The flash of lightning was so bright that all I could see were shadows.
So at the time you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue?
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked onto the floor.
You were knocked to the floor?
Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around and that's when the lightning flashed.
He's trying to throw us with this fucking image. This image is lies, fake news. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt.
What happened after the lightning flashed?
You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place?
No, I'm sorry. The flash of lightning only drove the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this poor girl further?
What? Yeah, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture.
Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course, this is the correct scene.
It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks to the detectives.
Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright?
No, of course not. You better watch out, or you may find some way to cut my salary.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture? Huh? Oh, well, yes. That's strange. She claims it's exactly the scene that she was imprinted in her mind, that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago.
We're back at the start, aren't we?
Yeah, it definitely is Weeb Lawyer Simulator.
Weeb Lawyer Simulator. Yep, that's what we're playing. Right, we've seen this before. Skip this.
Oh. Wait, have we done this already?
Yeah, we're back at the
Oh,
start.
is this the first one? Ah, okay.
We need to... So wait, right, so she doesn't know who's who. I don't know how to say that. Oh shit, it's got both now.
Yeah. This is what I wanted to look at. I'm like, what does this mean?
So is the top the Well, remember it was a big window, so I guess that's the whole window.
Yeah.
You don't think Detective Goodman drew Gumshoe even? You don't think Gumshoe drew over something important, do you?
I don't think anyone drew it. Like, I think it must have been Emma.
You think Emma drew the Blue Badger's head there?
I think Emma drew the Blue Badger's head there. But it's not the Blue Badger's head, it's on its side.
Yeah, so what is that? What is it then?
I don't know.
Is it the jar?
Is it
It's
the
not
jar?
quite the right shape. The handles are kind of similar? Maybe?
I don't think so. I don't think it's the jar.
It's not far off though. What's the last one?
Oh. Hang on. Oh.
Right.
I gotta be very careful about... Yeah, this picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
So what can we present here?
You keep saying that the... stabbed in the back.
Oh, that probably...
Do you think we
that
present
might
this
be it.
against it?
I don't know what else we would, because we can't. There's not evidence, which is you don't know who stabbed who.
I would say...
Like from there, you could get him in the back.
No,
So
because I don't think that position, the person being stabbed in that position, it wouldn't make sense for them to be like in the back. That
Are you
has to
sure?
be the front. Yes.
Do you think it's the standing up person's left or right arm holding the?
It's
Because I agree if that's their left arm, but that, from the look of it, that could be their right arm, and then they would be stabbing in the back. It's not obvious from this drawing.
Yeah, what
which
if
arm
it
is
was?
holding
If it was their right arm, then they'd have to be like in a totally different weird pose.
Well, they wouldn't. What do you mean?
Like how do
The head might be a little different, but like it's not obvious.
Oh,
which
oh, you mean
one-
the person sitting down? You mean?
No. The person standing up. Like if that's to the left arm, right? Then the knife's going into the front, the other person's front. So the other person's facing the camera clearly because you can see the way the elbow is. But it's not obvious that it's not that they're not holding them with the right arm and going to put the knife in the back. I still think that's the best thing to present. I still think that's the best thing to have. So yes, go for it. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm not sure if... I'd rather we could just use the words, you didn't know who was who. This looks right. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it like it was just yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report? Oh. Ooh. The knife isn't sharp. That's hard. That's not how I would have worded it. It would be the
I think it's the
position the
weapon.
person's in rather than the knife, wouldn't it?
How do we point to position the person's in?
Just point it there. Just point it.
Because I actually, now that I'm looking at it, that could possibly swing into their back from the left. From the left.
Yeah, that was my point.
But I want to present the weapon.
Well, you just think it's not a knife.
I think it's not a knife.
Well, I mean, it's not impossible, is it? The contradiction, of course, lies here. What type of save?
Just make a little safe save.
We've already made a mistake. Otherwise,
Yeah, but then that's only one mistake.
okay. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright.
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Darks was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma.
And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem?
He hasn't stabbed him yet. It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet have been broken. Ah! What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand.
Objection! Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it could possibly wind up there. That's right. But what does this mean?
So the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken.
That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time. But she was sure she remembered correctly.
But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence?
You're treading on thin ice, right?
All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility.
No. Ah!
Oda! Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted? Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place on the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. I don't know which murder day this is. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. Can we get a...
Sorry, I accidentally...
During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. Or was he? It is my belief that somewhere in this story there is a lie.
I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon.
It's the fucking statue. The award.
There must have been another broken knife.
Getting somewhere now. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? We have a fucking photo of the other one. Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? There is another one.
There's another one, yeah. We know what it is.
If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error.
Mr. Wright.
In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume then that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here is the real murder weapon.
And it's gotta be.
It's the trophy, yeah, just do it.
Yeah. If anything's broken here, it's you.
Huh? I'm sure this must all be very amusing to you, Mr. Wright. But may I remind you that the fate of Miss Lana Skye hangs in the balance? What? Oh, the photo then? It's the photo.
Oh, okay.
So sorry, Your Honor, please give me another chance. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I know. Oh wait,
Oh, yeah. There you go. There.
There's so much stuff!
There's a lot of stuff. It's fine. The answer lies in the past. 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is a picture of the award ceremony. Oh, sorry.
This is a picture of the awards ceremony. Ah,
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
it's the broken murder weapon.
Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding.
That's a broken knife.
As we earlier concluded, the knife was in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order! Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation.
But that can't be.
Yeah, now it's who was who. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth?
Because the King of Prosecutors award knife. Because if the King of Prosecutors award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed.
What do you mean?
I mean, the man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Oh. Oh! I'll redo that. That's fine. That's chill. But the prosecutor was the one who actually died. Well, that's true. What's going on here?
It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Hold it!
Hold it! Wait! I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth? What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please?
Whose list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back?
Now we're gonna get a bit of an explanation.
What is this?
I knew it! This picture. I'm the one who drew it. What?
Is it the award? You drew that?
That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part deep away inside me.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye?
Yes, Your Honor.
First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger? This should be interesting.
When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed towards both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife.
Holy shit, what?
Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
This is certainly most unusual. The bat symbol.
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year.
That would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may now begin its process. Stop! Please do not pursue this any further. Lana! What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you cannot do this! I've already confessed to my crime! Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter.
Where's recollection?
I think we've seen this before as well. She's added to our old one. When you say that man, I assume you mean the defendant to a dark.
Oh, sorry. I assume that this will be all new stuff.
Oh no,
Yes.
yeah,
This is new.
yeah, maybe it was new.
Yeah, we'll do this.
Okay. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark.
Yeah, at least I think it was him.
You think?
All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports.
So then you... Why would you do something so dangerous?
What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall.
She seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife.
But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was, I've got to help that other person.
Holy fuck, she got him killed. What do you mean you think?
It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did was kind of a blur. This guy was almost killed before she was a witness to the murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the person about to stab the other one, who I thought was Mr. Marshall, and you had to stop the man with the knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So then what happened next?
Alright.
Are you sure about this?
Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here. But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. It's all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him somewhere before. And now I finally remember.
Oh, brother. Just when you thought that this thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing?
Ugh.
It was just a shadow, right?
He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
His shadow? So I mean, you didn't actually see his face with the winning smile and all.
That's right, but I still remember it. It had these 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
Oh? And I suppose you have an explanation? If so, by all means, please. Tell us what you think this shadow really was.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? I think it's the vase.
You think it's the vase?
I think the vase at a certain angle could look like that in a shadow. The blue badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the defense's belief that on that fateful day, 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Mr. Wright!
In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. I assume that means our evidence. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us the mysterious blue badger look-alike. I think it's the vase.
You think? I mean, it has to be the vase, right?
I don't know what else it could possibly be. Like, it's like... You could angle that to have 3 horns, right? The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar.
But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the blue badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Right, okay, I find it. Yeah, if you go up, up, yep. I'm thinking it... Or is it that bit at the bottom? Oh yeah, it's got a bit at the bottom. They're not really triangular. No, because it would have to be the opposite of that. Rotate... That's pretty close. Yeah, so... Yeah. That's a bit... Yeah. Take that. Oh, fuck. This isn't right. I'm gonna get one of the badger.
Allow me to remind the defense this whole case.
Oh, I don't like how
hinges
specific
on the
this has
witness's
to be.
journey.
You get the point.
Let's just make a little safety save.
Come on, you get the like, you get it, right? Like this isn't stupid. I don't even know if it was help for that.
Alright, no, I don't think we did either.
I think they were like, yeah, this is a bit harsh. But no, you were definitely nearly right. Like, it's something like that. Because you even had the triangles going the right way.
How did this look again? Like that?
Maybe this, and go up. Why can't we, like, put it over the drawing?
I know. More like that?
No, there needs to be a triangle visible at the top. Up, we can't see green in the handles, because it'll be... And then
What?
center it more. No, you're closer this way. Yeah, it's about here. But you have to, like, straighten it up, and it's not that high. Back a little bit. Yeah. Okay, straighten.
What does straighten mean?
Like, so that they'll, like, you can, because we have grid
What
lights,
is
right?
straighten? Like, what?
You can see my fucking webcam, like, because we've got the grid lines.
So, like,
right?
oh, like
handles
rotate
can be
left.
straight. Sure. I don't know what buttons you're pressing, so. Yeah, but you need to get it so like the 2 ears are in line.
My dude, it does not work like that.
There. No. You had it. Oh, you nudged it too much. No.
So,
You were close, and then you nudged it again and went, no. At least we're not yet. This is bullshit. Like, I think we've made our point.
this is, yeah, it's just a little bit too delicate, this.
Alright, so if we use
Maybe
the
it's
grid
just like
line...
that. Maybe it's just upside down.
That's not what we're doing. That's clearly not what we're doing. Right, use the grid lines. Look how many squares are between the circles. And we'll try and work from that. Yep. And flatten it. So there's about... So if the bottom two handles are at the bottom of the square, then the top circle is like halfway through the line 2 above it.
It's like that.
No, that's 3 above. Oh, it's hard though, because it's... Rotate a little bit. No, the other way. Right back again. Oh, that's close. Now, can we... No, I think that's really close. Can we right stick to the right? That's how I imagine that would work. A tiny touch. Yeah, about as fifth as much as that. Left again. Okay. That's pretty good. Try that. Fuck! What? What? Oh my god. Come on!
Like, I'm just gonna point it upside down. See if that works.
I'd be so
What is this?
Right, bring the... Right, so basically get it to how we had it. Because we're really close.
Are you looking at a picture? Or?
I did a little bit. Right, so basically, yeah, it needs to be stumpier, so down more. Like, we're giving it too much... We're giving the top too much credit. Don't make it a full circle at the top. Make it like... Yeah, closer to that. Something like that. And then maybe rotate a little bit. If I'm still speaking, it's not done. Try again. Get it so that the lip at the bottom just touches the bottom. Like the lip of that, right, so like up a tiny bit. I think this screenshot's from like the DS version or something, so it actually looks pretty different. It's about here. Like, this is about it. So, it...
My dude, like that?
It needs to rotate, no, it needs to rotate left a little bit. It's not quite straight.
It doesn't work like that.
I know it doesn't do a little bit. I know, but it's... I know the controls don't do that, but the image does. Yes. Oh no, oh that's pretty good. Yes! No, stop undoing it! No, that's too much left. Right. How do you touch? One more touch.
No, a little bit touch is like massive, my dude.
Well, no, because the touches you were doing before, but there! Oh, fuck! Right, that was good. No! It's totally You always change it when it's like as close as it gets. Right a little bit. Yes. That'll do. Try that.
If that works, it's bullshit. Can you pass me the picture? Like, put it on Discord so I can see.
Oh my god. It's like, literally. There's it in Discord. Like,
okay.
Come on.
This is gonna mess with how this looks on stream.
I am not counting this as looking at a guide, because fuck you, we know how this works. The game is being bullshit. We know exactly how this links to the crime. We know exactly how this... As soon as it came up, I went, I think that's the jar. As soon as we saw that drawing. I think that could be the jar. So we fucking know this. This is not looking up a guide. This is the game being stupid.
This is, yeah.
It's far too particular. Maybe when you had a touchscreen, you could get this millimeter right with a fucking nudge. Does not work on a controller. Very nice.
Fuck you, get like, holy shit.
I have passed Andrew the image. You can all see it. I now get to step back and watch Andrew do this.
Right.
We'll see how he does. He wasn't happy with my directions. It'd clearly be much easier if he could see himself.
Let's put this. Should we put this down here so that the whole, like, all right. It's now on screen.
Is it now like on the screen?
It's now on screen, yeah.
Like on the screen. For me, being able to see green in the handles really fucks it, because then the shadow would look different. So I think that would definitely be too much one way.
Doesn't help that our grid is like different from the grid that it like gives us.
Oh no, yeah, it's all different. Yeah, it's different proportions as well, because you can't get the top looking that stumpy with the bottom like that far in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's complete. Like the models, the 3D model is different, or the distance from the camera between the camera and the model is different. Like it's actually not the same.
That's what I'm gonna give it. Go see if you can find a better picture, like a picture from this game. Because I'm gonna make it look more like the Blue Badger. Allow me to remind you that this is the worst puzzle in this game.
I don't have a specific Google search of all time. Oh my god, I just saw the next line of dialogue after you get this, and it's literally like, well, is this a miracle or what? Here! Right, okay, right, I think this one's better.
Okay.
It's up more.
Alright, drop it in Discord.
It's coming. That's it.
Okay.
Put that one on screen just to show how fucking different it is.
Okay. And fix this. Alright. Okay.
Yeah, it's about where you had it there. Which, to be fair, is about where we've tried before. Like, we've not tried this position. So it's not mind-blowing by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, so...
That's exactly what we have.
Is that exactly what... We're both in agreement?
Well, no, wait. It might be slightly more centered. Maybe just. But, like, it's that thing of you have to nudge it and it doesn't work. Oh, there. Oh, yes. No, stop moving it! Oh my god! Right, you've got more of a... Down slightly. Yes. No! Oh my god! It's so annoying. Down a bit more. Right. Bring the top down a bit. Yes. That is perfect. That is actually... Oh no! Wait, no it's not. Yes it is! Yes! What a bullshit fucking thing. Get that screenshot off screen.
That's what we did.
Fucking hell.
4 times in a row.
Yeah, that's what we did 4 times, exactly. Get the fucking picture off the stream before me. Let me know when it's gone so I can actually continue reading.
It's gone.
Holy fuck. Cut that nonsense! Jesus Christ, how long was that? It was like 10 minutes. Well, is this a miracle or what? Fucking love that dialogue line. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the Blue Badger. Fuck me.
But like in court, I feel like he's just manipulating this jar, you know?
I know, like, look! It's the Blue Badger, like, for the judge. The judge particularly has to see it exact. Order. Stop playing with that jaw, alright? The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point?
Point is we saw a fucking badger. What do you mean?
So, that badger thing was actually just a jar. So what? That doesn't change anything.
Oh, you're so wrong, Edgy. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything.
Indeed, well, please tell us. What's different now that we know this jar was there?
The murder weapon. I'll say it again for those in the back. The murder weapon.
Why?
Because he was murdered with a jar. Or he was hit with a jar. Maybe they didn't kill him. But they fabricated the evidence of the bit of the knife being in him, so the autopsy report could have been fucking different. Allow me to take these in turn.
Okay.
Well, I suppose it could be the murderer. But I don't think the jar proves that.
Okay.
At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar in midair.
That's a very, very, very specific angle. I might add, Mr. Wright.
Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant.
Yes, it is. Beside it's the location.
Did they already know they were in his office?
Yes, but where in his office?
In front of the window.
Which window?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does, because blood was found on one side of the room and the jar's on the other.
Oh, I see. That is interesting. We could have searched the desk server. I didn't even know that. I don't know if that changes anything.
But we said many times that they haven't searched the desk room, but the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk.
Oh, I see.
The witness testified so herself.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. I think the jar was in midair. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office.
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office?
Yes.
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Why the fuck would they do that? If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. The knight spears up. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? The knight spear. Emma killed him. Emma killed me. The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. Yeah.
No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking.
This is why Lana had to protect the whole thing. Yes. There is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorized, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall. That's a big yikes. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No. No! Never imagined her testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Got someone move their body away. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances... Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall! How can you think it was Ava? How dare you try to pin the crime on her?
Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out what happened to Emma, wasn't it?
I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me. Do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony.
I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify.
Or can we?
Can we? Oh my god, is Maya gonna bust in the room? This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning!
Touche, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean, the possibility that the victim left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life.
Oh, we have to spray the jar. Spray the jar.
Oh, no.
I don't know what we're doing with that. Can we spray the jar?
In one manner or another.
That is impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister's a murderer?
You should not be mistaken, Miss Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek. The truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Jar.
Blood traces, yeah.
That's half an M. Or the can of Fermat, possibly. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? Oh, he is going to just speak the killer's name!
If that thing could, I'm sure it would.
Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar.
It looks like somebody wiped the blood away. On all except one piece.
Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here, drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines?
Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
One that somehow, apparently, someone wiped away. But the blood must have seeped into the jar, where the lines changed directions.
Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points. And the victim's message will become apparent. No. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. We're going to connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing the victim would have written, given the circumstances. It's pretty obvious, yeah. His murderer's name. Yeah, okay. So, start at the top left.
You're like, do it this way, idiot.
Yeah, there's an E. But also drag it down, or drag that up, yes. This puzzle. Here's a puzzle. There we go, that's an E. Don't think we do that bit.
Oh yeah, we can't do this one.
We can do the N, and then there's obviously an A there. Oh, there's the cowboy. There we go, yep.
It's not, it's... Look, this isn't like... Hang on, can we do this on the base? Kinda.
No, don't do it to there, do it to the top, because they'll still have to do the bridge. Yes. Ema! Ema! It's a defense attorney's duty to provide their client's innocence. To prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma.
So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind.
Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye.
Seaworthy, I can't say I didn't warn you. You can't. Do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in that case, were you not? Ah, yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
Did he not kill the other 5 people? But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That is undeniable. Is it? He wasn't proved charged guilty in a court of law legally, was he?
I'm afraid that's not important.
Well...
Didn't you know we aren't defenders of justice?
What?
We're merely keepers of the law.
Yeah.
Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How could he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order! 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 The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Right, I think we need a wee break.
Yeah.
Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. That's a good time. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. To be continued. Perfect. Oh my god, this must be. We must be going into the final chapter now. Jesus. Woo! Oh my god, I don't think. Oh my god, I was like, Gant killed him, or Lana killed him, and he covered it up, or Lana tried to protect Emma, but I didn't draw the dots to Emma killed the guy. Fucking hell.
Alright, well...
Jesus! What a time to be alive.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with the truth.